Yo, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Back with another video, another football video. My basketball content will at some point. I have not talked basketball at all for a bit, but topic of discussion today: Phil Rivers announced his retirement. There was a huge debate going on social media all over. Is Phil Rivers a Hall of Famer? That's what we're gonna discuss. I will give my opinion with some facts to back up my opinion, and y'all let me know what you guys think. Many people don't see Rivers as a Hall of Famer. I get that. Lack of playoff success. He went 5-7. You can include his game this year with the Colts, so he's 5-6 with the Chargers, which isn't bad, right? You got guys like Peyton Manning who went like 13-13, and he has 2-2 in the Super Bowl. So he has like most of his wins is when he's making it to the Super Bowl. Other than that, he's one and done as well. But mind you, he has 2 rings. People value rings over stats, which is fine. But it's like, if lack of playoff success is your only argument, then that's probably not enough. Because there's plenty of greats, plenty of Hall of Famers without rings that are in the Hall of Fame or deserving. So about the playoff success, where did I post? Right here. Now these are all his playoff games. He got drafted in 04. He didn't start playing to 06. That's when Brees got traded in that offseason before this one. So his first season at the helm, he makes it to the playoffs. He goes up against Tom Brady and New England Patriots. Everybody wants to talk about all the talent Rivers has played with. His only legit elite option to throw to is Gates. If you're only going to come at Belichick with one elite option, that's not even receiver, it's your tight end, it will be removed. This is known for 20 years. You got to come at him with multiple threats. You can't just come in with one threat and expect to win. Now, close game, 21-24. Yes, he did not play well. This is his first season starting, and he's in the playoffs. 1 interception, no touchdowns. 230 yards on 14 completions, so that's not bad. But his completion percentage is below 50. His rating is 5, so that's not good, and he got sacked 3 times. He did not play well, but he played well enough in his first season to make it. Now he's 0-1. His second season, he beats the Titans. I don't even remember the Titans. I really... Is it Kerry Collins or Vince Young? I don't really... 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 92.6 rating. Very good. Second game against the Colts. It's hard to beat Peyton in anything. He beats Peyton in his second year starting, second year in the playoffs. 14 of 19, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 133 quarterback rating. So that sounds like he outdueled Peyton. That is hard to do. It's usually a good defense. It's usually the Patriots that knocks out Peyton. Philip Rivers did it. Great game. Now, he goes up against the 16-0, or at this point, they're 17-0 New England Patriots. He has a torn ACL in this game. Mind you, Rivers, 264 straight starts. He's never missed a start. He's playing the playoffs with a torn ACL. He is the definition of Iron Man next to Brett Favre and Eli before he got benched. So this is the definition of Iron Man. Now, yes, he had a bad game. He's on a 20. The fact that he even risked his career for this game, the fact that he even completed a pass. 51%, 211 yards. Yeah, 0 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. They lost 21-12. But the fact that it was even competitive with a 17-0 team, with a quarterback with a torn ACL, that's ridiculous. Now again, at this point, he's 2-2 in the postseason. Next year, he holds again. Right, this is 2008. Brady isn't in the playoff. The Patriots didn't even make the playoffs because Brady tore his ACL at the first start of the first game of the season. He beats Peyton again. 2 years in a row, he beat Peyton. Now, their defense is so elite because all I'm hearing is about how many elite defenses Rivers has played with. They gave up 35 points to Ben Roethlisberger before he was this big passer, right? At this point, who's he playing with? He's playing with like Hines Ward, right? He wasn't this this elite passer yet, but they still gave up 35 points to Ben Roethlisberger. And I think this was the year the Steelers beat the Cardinals. So they had Hines Ward, Santonio Holmes, because I know Santonio Holmes had like a million catches in that Super Bowl. Keith Miller, Willie Parker. I'm not sure if Antoine Randall is even still on this team at this point. I'm not sure. So that's pretty much the offense for the Steelers at the time. They gave up 35 points. This is supposed to be a team with so many elite defensive players. Now, the next season, they go up against Revis Island. Revis Island is legit, and that shit is real. So that's just bad luck that they just happened to run into Revis Island. Ask Peyton, ask Brady, ask the Bengals when they had Ocho Cinco and Terrell Owens. Ask them what Revis Island is like. It's real. Reggie Wayne, Randy Moss, they'll tell you. They beat the Bengals, but then again, who hasn't beaten the Bengals in the playoffs? And then they lose to Denver. Who the hell is the quarterback at Denver at this point? Is it Peyton already? I don't remember. Regardless, they go 1-1 in the playoffs. They lose to Denver 24-17. 18 of 27 for 217 and 2 touchdowns isn't a bad game, right? Denver is known for having a pretty good defense, so 17-24. It's just your defense gave up 24 points. He didn't turn the ball over, no fumbles. Just, you can look at the game, probably struggled running the ball. Chargers. Mind you, there's a lot of gaps in here. So this is probably against Peyton. There's a lot of gaps in here, right? Here, 06 to 09, 4 straight years, but then you wait 4 years for your next one. Another 5 before your next appearance. They beat Lamar Jackson, right, as they should have. But it was a really close game. And then, bro, this was an elite team up and down the list, right? But you gave up 41 points to a dynasty that was dead. Brady, who was finished, right? He was already down the cliff, right? This was a team that was considered dead. And you gave up 41 points. They didn't even have any elite receivers. So, what is your elite defense doing? If you're giving 41 points to a team, Gronk, who was on his way out, Edelman, who's usually banged up, Chris Hogan, Dorsett, you're giving 41 points to these guys and Sony Michel. Come on, where's this elite defense we're talking about? And then, of course, the game with so that's his playoff success there, right? You're giving up 41, 35, a couple of close games here. But then again, look, New England, Revis, New England. He's 0-3 against Brady. Of his 7 losses, he's 0-3 against Brady. I mean, there's a common pattern here. And then I'm guessing this loss has to be against Peyton. This is against Revis Island, and this is against Ben Roethlisberger. He's not losing to bad teams. He's not losing. He's if they're favorites, they might be slight favorites, right? Look, he's losing to Peyton, Brady, and Big Ben, the 3 quarterbacks that pretty much ran the AFC for years. I can go on about his talent, but other than Gates and Keenan Allen, everybody else, his best receiver was Malcolm Floyd. Before Keenan Allen, it was Malcolm Floyd. If that's your best receiver with all this elite talent he's played with, but you're 5th in all these stats, this is pretty fucking good. This is good. You have to be good if you're 5th in touchdowns, yards, and completions with Malcolm Floyd as one of your better receivers you've played with in your career, right? Because he's not elite whatsoever. Vincent Jackson was good receiver in his time with the Chargers, but he was never elite, right? Look at this. This is 6-7 years. In 7 years, he put up 4,700 yards. That is a little over 800 yards a season. I mean, not 800. 800. I don't know what 800 is. 500 yards a season. Right, a little over. Right, 37 touchdown passes in 7 seasons. That is 5 touchdowns a season. That's not elite in a pass-happy league. Right, Malcolm Floyd. This is no. A running back. I mean, yes, it's LT, right? He's one of the best ever, but he's 12th on this list. Austin Eckler, who's played for 2 seasons with Rivers, is up here at 27. As one of the best receivers the Chargers has ever had. That's not good in terms of your list of weapons. If anything, this makes Rivers' case even better with all this elite talent he's played with. if your only threat is Antonio Gates, you might struggle against the better teams because they'll find ways to take that away. This was ESPN. I was reading this earlier. Should Rivers make the Pro Hall of Fame? 08 to 2010, he led the league in yards per attempt in 3 consecutive seasons. 4,000 yards 12 times, winning record 9 times, 421 passing touchdowns. He ranks top 5 in many career passing categories. 5-7 playoff record is respectable, especially when you got Peyton Manning, who is one of the, he's considered one of the GOATs in that position. He's 13-13 or some record like that is Peyton's record with 4 trips to the Super Bowl. Right? So that means, like, if he's not making it to the Super Bowl, he's one and done. Not good. But granted, the Super Bowl, the 2 Super Bowl rings is the only thing that's going to matter at that point when you talk about Peyton. Nobody will look at overall record. Like Eli, he has, I think, 8 playoff wins. Those are just in 2 seasons, right? If you look at every other season, he's one and done or he's not making it. But like I said, people will only look at rings at that point. He's top 5 in yards, touchdowns, 240 games in a row. Yeah, I mean, they'll make him wait, which is fine. I'm just saying that he gets in, not that he's first ballot. Okay, so Hall of Fame is for the best players of the generation since he became a full-time starter in 06. Rivers has threw for more yards than every quarterback but Brees. So since 06, the only quarterback that's thrown for more yards is Brees, and he has like 25,000 yard seasons. And he has more touchdown passes and won more of his starts than everybody else, and everybody but Brees and Brady. That is elite. People are saying that he's not elite. He's elite. I lean yes, but the volume stats don't do it to me. He was worse than a number of his contemporaries. Okay, so he's worse than Brady, Manning, Rodgers, and Brees. Fine. Do not put Big Ben and Romo in this category if we're talking about who's better. If we remove rings from the conversation, Rivers is better than Ben and Romo. Romo couldn't even stay on the field. Big Ben, just in terms of stats, just isn't better than Rivers. And Ben Roethlisberger has actually had, like the Steelers, they just shit out receivers, right? They shit out receivers, like talent at receivers. We can go on forever talking about all the receivers Big Ben has played with. That's better than what we just named. We just named for Rivers. Antonio Holmes, Mike Wallace, Hines Ward, Antoine. I mean, maybe not Antoine Randall isn't like better than what we named. Antonio Brown, like even Juju Smith-Schuster is better than Malcolm Floyd. Come on. You can't skip a player that's top 5 in a shit ton of categories and 240 consecutive games. Like that's pretty much it. Like what more do we need? Mind you, he's top 5 in all these categories, and he played with. Where is it? Oh, that's not it. I gotta Google this. Mind you, he played with a top 5 running back of all time. Right? Look at all these stats. He led the league in rushing twice, and he led the league in rushing touchdowns 3 times. And he's still 5th in passing categories. If we look at the others that are top in passing categories, they don't have a running back close to this. Brett Favre played with Amon Green. Brady played with Corey Dillon, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, Lawrence Maroney, Stephen Ridley. Do you guys even know who half those guys are? Peyton played with Joseph Adai and Endrian James. Those were probably his best running backs. Endrian James, Joseph Adai. Don't come close to this. Aaron Rodgers, who did he play with? Cheeseburger Eddie? Like they don't come close to this in terms of stats. So the fact that he's top 5 in stats and he had a top 5 running back on his team in terms of stats, that makes his argument even better. Your only argument is rings at this point, and there's plenty of quarterbacks with no rings in the Hall of Fame. Now, shout out to Kevin Tompkins. He tweeted it earlier today, but I just found it before I started the video. Phillip Rivers has more of a Hall of Fame resume than Eli Manning. Yes, that is a fact. I agree 1,000%. On 2 games. Yeah, so like Eli Manning was like he had his first Super Bowl run was more of a team than like because Eli wasn't really impressive at all. Now, if you look at the second Super Bowl run, yes, Eli was great. then you can say Eli was elite. But he was elite for just that playoff run. Other than that, he was nowhere near elite. There seems to be a lot of people that kind of agree with this statement here. Does he though played nearly 2 full seasons longer and his stats aren't all that much better? Eli has rings. Can argue Eli is not a Hall of Famer for his. I agree. Eli gets in. Is he first ballot? Some people will say yes because of 2 rings and 2 Super Bowl MVPs and the fact that they beat Brady twice. That's just the 2 rings is why Eli will get in. And if he's first ballot, that's literally it. Eli is 50th quarterback pass rating and a 500 quarterback in terms of winning percentage, which is literally 500. I think he's like 113 and 113. Like I said, stats versus rings. The Hall of Fame answered that with allowing Marino, Moon, Kelly, and Tark in. No rings in Britain. Like I said, like done it. So why doesn't Rivers get it? People want to say like, oh, his stats are inflated, but yes, he's also played without T. He had to hand the ball off a million times. Nobody else with stats had to do that. Yes, Breeze has Kamara, but that was like at the very end of his career. Like his best running back after that was like Reggie Bush. Mind you, those are first ballot. Those are GOATs that I mentioned. I'm talking about Rivers just getting in. Whether it's year 2, year 3, year 4. I'm just talking about that he gets in. Not first ballot. I'm not saying he's first ballot. I'm just saying he gets in. And I think that's pretty much it with all the, sensible things I'm trying to say. Yeah, but there's people that played with plenty of Hall of Famers. Brady played with how many Hall of Famers on offense? Moss. That's it. And what does that matter? Team game. Rivers even had a team where they were number 1 on offense, number 1 on defense, 32nd in special teams, and they went, I think, 9-7. Where's that? Where is it? Did I not bring it up? I can't find it. But yeah, they went 9-7. That's actually a good video on YouTube. They go over how the Chargers didn't make it because literally special teams were losing them. They were the number 1 offense. You also can't do that if you're not elite. You're not getting the number 1 offense. You're not elite at some level, or at least at some point in your career. Right? People thought Matt Ryan was elite because they had the number 1 offense. And if you're going to tell me Matt Ryan's better than Rivers, I disagree. That was a team. That's a quarterback that played with talent in comparison to Rivers. Julio Jones, Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez, like 20 different running backs. Now he has Calvin Ridley. Sure, this is at the end of his career, but that's a dude that played with talent. But I'm going to end it off there. Shout outs to this dude for this tweet. I loved it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Again, be look out for a couple more videos this weekend with the conference championships. I'm about a Madden video, and if other football news comes out, be on the lookout for another video. Peace.